man though, as it's tidied up nicely by Cucurella. Back to the goalkeeper it goes. Here's Caicedo, just outside the D. Drills one out towards that far side. Not a bad ball. It's flicked on as well, but out of play. I think it was flicked on by Gusto towards Estevao, who still hasn't touched the ball. And it's out of play. It's a throw-in for Manchester City on the halfway line down their left-hand side. It's going to be taken by Nico O'Reilly. It's gone out of play immediately, and it's come off a City player, so Chelsea will have a throw in a similar position over on the far side in front of the West Stand here at Stamford Bridge. Back it goes to Caicedo, just outside the centre circle inside the Chelsea half. Over the halfway line it goes. Here's Cucurella in a central position. He's hacked down there by the Manchester City player Kusanov, who's lucky to avoid the first yellow card there of the afternoon. It's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. Few yards inside the Manchester City half to the left of the centre circle, and just a quick one taken in the end by Pedro Neto. It's gone out of play on the far side there as it's overran, and Manchester City will have the throw midway inside their own half down their left-hand side. 7 minutes played here at Stamford Bridge. Goalless between Chelsea and Manchester City. Kusanov goes square to his right-hand side. Nunez down the line. Semenyo touches a little bit heavy down this near side. That allows Cucurella to get the touch in. Well, the referee's given a... Has he given the throw into Chelsea? He has. Looked like it came off Cucurella, I'll be honest. May have just taken a nick, possibly, off Anton Semenyo. So it's a throw into Chelsea on the halfway line down their left-hand side. First time ball out towards the near side from Cole Palmer. He was hoping that Marc Cucurella was going to make the run down that left side. He wasn't. He didn't. And it goes out of play. And it's a throw-in for Manchester City, level with the edge of their own penalty area down their right-hand side. It goes infield to Kusanov, forward to Rodri. Rodri turns and then right-footed places was halfway line. Haaland in a deep position, and the Norwegian loses possession on the halfway line. Can Chelsea take advantage of that little bit of sloppiness from the Norwegian? It eventually works its way out to Pedro Neto. Neto infield, ball across the 18-yard line towards Cole Palmer. Not going to find him. Bernardo Silva is there. Hasn't convincingly got it clear, Bernardo Silva. Neto picks it up again inside the 6-yard area, and a shot comes in from a similar position to the shot from Cole Palmer that ended up in the side netting. It's ended up in the side netting again, this time from João Pedro, but it's taken a deflection. It's Kusanov, I think, who slid in there. Just looking at a replay of it, he has indeed. It's good defending, and it's behind, and Chelsea have their first corner of the afternoon in front of the shed end here at Stamford Bridge. Pedro Neto will take it from this near side, left-footed out swinging from the Portuguese, and it comes low. Not the best one. It's recycled back out to Pedro Neto again down this near side for Chelsea. Cuts in field, just slightly overruns it slightly. Manages to get it somehow to a blue shirt. Caicedo has it. Caicedo drills it back out towards this near side. Loads of space for Cole Palmer now. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Overlap is there for Pedro Neto if he needs it. Just holds it up. And back it goes eventually to Malo Gusto. Slows it down to walking pace and then does go out to Pedro Neto down this left-hand side for Chelsea. Cuts in field. He's about 30 yards from goal now. And manages to sneak it through to Heiso, back out towards this near side. Gusto back to Caicedo. Good little spell this for Chelsea. Looped in towards the penalty area. Kusanov gets it clear towards the edge of the penalty area. Cole Palmer wanted too much time. Gets a second bite of the cherry. Gets a shot in. Takes a deflection. And it harmlessly bobbles through to Donnarumma. In all pink this afternoon, the Italian goalkeeper. He plays one low out to Kusanov, right-footed ball clear. That's a really poor one from him out of defence, gifting possession straight back to Chelsea. We're having a good little spell here at the moment. Liam Rossini's men, lovely turn by Cole Palmer. That'll be a free kick, about 35 yards from goal, left of centre. And he's, again, I have to say, Rodri's slightly lucky not to get the first yellow. And Cole Palmer is making that clear to Chris Kavanagh. It's a lovely turn by the ex-Manchester City man. Just swivels round Rodri, the pull of the shirt to make sure he's not going any further. And the appeal from Palmer for the yellow card to Chris Kavanagh waved away though, but it will be a free kick for Chelsea, possibly a little bit too far out for a attempt on goal here. It's probably more like 40 yards from goal than 30. It's pretty much dead central, and at the moment we've got Malo Gusto behind it. We've also got Pedro Neto. The Manchester City defensive line is right on the edge of the 18-yard line as Chelsea attack the shed end. It looks like it's going to be Neto left-footed to clip it in. That's exactly what he does do. Towards the far post, gets too much on it, goes behind, goal kick. Wasted opportunity there for Chelsea, and it's a goal kick for Manchester City. And, well, playing out from the back again is Kusanov, as he's fed it from Donnarumma. Kusanov out towards near side again, sloppy from Manchester City, losing possession now out towards João Pedro, left-hand side of the penalty area. They need to take advantage of this sloppiness from Manchester City. They really do. João Pedro still ball on his right foot. Pokes it back towards the halfway line. Caicedo almost falls over, manages to smuggle it back out towards Neto down this near side. And Neto goes all the way back towards the halfway line. It's Gerard Hato. And he goes back to Caicedo, who's the last man back. Knocks it back to the goalkeeper. Forward it goes, and in a deep position now is André Santos. Loops it over towards the far side. Cole Palmer's going to pick this one up for Chelsea and knock it out towards Estevao. And the offside flag is up, is it, over on the far side? And that does that count as the first touch for Estevao? It's certainly the first time he's touched the ball, but he's been yellow carded as well for kicking the ball away. Well, there comes the first yellow card, and it's not for a foul, it's just for kicking the ball away by the little Brazilian over on the far side. So Estevao in the book, first yellow card of the afternoon. 12 minutes played here at Stamford Bridge, still goalless. Rodri goes back to Donnarumma inside the D, knocks it forward to Kusanov. Kusanov square to Matheus Nunes, who's closed down by Neto, manages to find Semenyo, goes for the 1-2 as he got the pace to get there ahead of Cucurella. It didn't matter anyway because the centre-back comes across, and that centre-back is Wesley Fofana to put the ball out of play for a City throw-in. Midway inside the Chelsea half, down the City right, all the way back towards the halfway line it goes, and here is Bernardo Silva, right-hand side of the centre circle. Takes it inside the centre circle, tracked all the way by Cole Palmer. Scooped up by Mark Guay out towards Nico O'Reilly, the match winner, of course, in the League Cup final. He's striding forward at the moment, goes out to Doku, just about stretches and keeps the ball in play, level with the edge of the penalty area. He's inside the penalty area but overruns it slightly, and Chelsea get it half clear, but Rodri's done well to win it back over on the far side. Back down the line it goes to Doku, infield to Kusanov, and suddenly the pendulum swings Manchester City's way again. A good first 5 minutes for Manchester City, and then Chelsea took over for a few minutes with a couple of opportunities. And here's Anton Semenyo now inside in the inside right position, midway inside the Chelsea half. Infield it goes again towards Matheus Nunes. Now Cherki, couple of step overs from the Frenchman as he holds it up and then finds Rodri to his left. Rodri goes back towards the halfway line, is inside the centre circle now with Kusanov. Square to Guay, left hand side. Now Doku. Is Doku going to make one of those mazy runs down that left hand side for City? Indeed it is. Gets the ball into the box. There's a header on there. Haaland gets something on it just outside the D, then doesn't know where the ball is, sort of jumping around, looking from left to right. And in the end, City keep possession but go all the way back to Donnarumma, who's come outside of his penalty area to set City on their way again with Mark Guay. Guay on to Nico O'Reilly. Back to Guay again. First quarter of an hour. Stats possession-wise, 62-38 in favour of Pep Guardiola's men. But actually Chelsea with the two sights of goal, really. The Cole Palmer one that was into the side netting, and then a similar opportunity for João Pedro, and that one was blocked at the near post and put out of play. Not on the same wavelength there, the two Manchester City players. Put out of play down this near side by Nunes, who I think was looking to find Semenyo. The ball went one way, the player went the other. Gone out of play, and it's a Chelsea throw-in. Chelsea knock it over towards the far side. It's not a good ball, and Doku picks it up. Now Doku goes down. He's overrun it in the end. The Belgian has gone behind for a goal kick. He wants a, well, I'm not sure if he wants a free kick or he wants the decision for the corner, but either way, the ref has waved that one clear. And it's a goal kick for Chelsea. And who would have known back in May 2021 when Kai Havertz scored that goal that won Chelsea the Champions League against Manchester City, that it would almost put a hex on Chelsea in this fixture, isn't it? They haven't beaten them since. 13 games they've played since, these two teams, and not one W for the West Londoners. Cucurella down the line. That's a nice ball onto Neto. Now then, Neto almost level with the edge of the penalty area, just retreating though back down that left-hand side, just looking for some support. Finds it in the form of João Pedro's in a deep position. João Pedro advancing towards the edge of the area, puts it through Cucurella. Cucurella for 1-0 to Chelsea, puts it in, and Chelsea have the lead. But is the offside flag up? Indeed it is. It is. Slotted home beautifully by the Spaniard, I have to say, but did he go just slightly too early? It's a wonderfully worked move. It's brilliant from João Pedro, I have to say. Slices through the Manchester City defence. Oh my goodness, he might just be onside here. I think this might be a goal. It looks like Kushanov is just playing onside. Takes one touch, and then from about 8 yards out, tight angle, he drills it across the goalkeeper, left-footed, rather than what Cole Palmer did earlier when he tried to beat the keeper at the near post. He drills it across the goalkeeper into the far corner, and I wouldn't at all be surprised if this is given. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. VAR are checking it. And it's been cleared. It remains goalless. I'd love to see the lines drawn on that. It looked very, very tight. First glance, I thought he was offside. I thought he was not clearly offside, but I thought he was a good half a yard offside. But when I looked at the replay, we're talking inches. Manchester City now coming forward over on the far side is Bernardo Silva. Back to Nico O'Reilly. Now it's with Rodri goes back out to Doku, down towards the byline. This is good for Manchester City, and it's even better sliding in at the near post from Andre Santos to stop that ball coming into the 6-yard area, but it is behind for a Manchester City corner, their second of the afternoon. We played 17 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. Second corner for City, 2-1. They need that particular stat. Ryan Cherky is going to take this one right-footed. Semenyo at the far, sort of lurking on the edge of the penalty. They have gone short here, City. Bernardo Silva, ball on his left foot, hits Casado, comes back again to the Portuguese, who then loops one out towards Rodri, who's in the inside right position. Beautiful sunshine this afternoon at Stamford Bridge. Really is this middle of April, I should say. Clash. Doku, left-hand side of the penalty area. Down the line it goes to Cherky again. He cuts infield, ball on his right foot. Switches it onto his left, goes for the 1-2 between himself and Nico O'Reilly, I think it was, who was in there. Chelsea can clear with Cole Palmer, knocks it onto Estevao. Lovely skill from the Brazilian there. And then he floats one out towards the near side. He's looking for the run of Pedro Neto. It's a brilliant ball as well. Pedro Neto, level with the edge of the penalty area down the left-hand side for Chelsea. Cuts in field. He's inside the penalty area. Will it fall for Cucurella? It's still Neto! Again tries to beat Donnarumma at the near post. Drilled it down towards the goalkeeper's right-hand side. And the save to put it behind for a corner. Chelsea, I think, probably should be ahead with the chances they've had in this first half. Really good work from Pedro Neto. Really is. It's a good save by Donnarumma. It's one you'd expect him to make. But he gets down so quickly for such a big man, the Italian. Chelsea knocking on the door, though, here at Stamford Bridge. Still goalless. Nearly 20 minutes played. Neto will go for the short corner with Cucurella. Back it goes to Neto again. Now Cole Palmer. Infield it goes to Andre Santos. He goes back out to the left-hand touchline, and Neto again. Cucurella. And was there an offside there? There must have been. Cucurella must have strayed. We're looking now at the line that was drawn for the goal. And let's have a look at this one and see how close it was. Goodness me. I mean, you're talking a painted... You're not even talking a toenail. You're talking a painted toenail, I think. It's so tight. It's one of those ones that years ago, of course, you'd give the advantage to the attacker and it'd be given because it is what you'd call level. You know, they are pretty much completely level, but the line has been drawn and they found something there to judge that the Spaniard was offside, and it remains goalless here at Stamford Bridge. City with Mark Guay bringing it towards the halfway line. Rodri knocks it back to Kushanov, just touches it off to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva over the halfway line to Doku. He's looked lively down that left-hand side as the Belgian. Goes out to Nico O'Reilly, holds it up and then goes back down the line to Bernardo Silva. Very congested over on that far side, the Manchester City left. Doku has it, looking to take on Gusto. Estevao comes across to double up on him. Now it's Mark Guay out towards the far side again. Doku will have another run on Gusto. In the end, just knocks it back to Guay. There's the cross, and Chelsea can get that one clear. Here's Cucurella, loops one long towards João Pedro. Can he get a flick on? So coming together there on the halfway line. That's going to result in a Manchester City free kick coming together between Cucurella and Nunes, so free kick to City. Touched off by Cherki towards Rodri, plays it inside the centre circle now for Bernardo Silva. Back to his right-hand side again, and Matheus Nunes. Nunes is going to float one out towards the left-hand side because there's space there for Doku. Doku brings it down nicely. Here's the run, down towards the byline again from the Belgian. In between two Chelsea players. This is good from Jeremy Doku. Gets the shot in. It's blocked. Cleared towards the edge of the penalty area. Might fall for Cherki. No, it won't. And Chelsea can get it clear. And they get a free kick there as João Pedro does really well. Just shields the ball. Invites the challenge from, I think it was Kusanov. Indeed it was. And Chelsea have a free kick. They're trying to take one early here. I think all they're trying to do is trying to get a Manchester City player booked. Cole Palmer in the end just hits it into Rodri. The referee saw through that one. I think it's going to be a free kick to Chelsea, but no more than that. Midway inside their own half, just to right of centre. Most of Chelsea's good play, in fact all of Chelsea's good play really has come down this left-hand side. We've not seen a lot down that right, where of course the exciting young Brazilian Esteval is. It's been the link-up play, really good link-up play as well, between Cucurella and Pedro Neto. Cole Palmer, of course, has been involved as well. Chelsea have lost the ball over on the far side. Here's Haaland. Tries to knock it on. That's not going to work. And City can bring it clear. Rodri is just too strong for Cucurella. Knocks it back towards the halfway line. Right of the centre circle. And Nunes goes all the way back to Donnarumma. We are midway through the first half here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0. Manchester City 0 here in the sunshine in West London. Chelsea, they need the 3 points, of course, to close the gap on the Champions League qualification places. Manchester City need the 3 points to close in on Arsenal. A point is really no good for either side. It really isn't. I wonder if there will come a time, if this match were level late on in the game, whether that will tell. City have won it here through Cherki. Cherki advancing towards the edge of the penalty area, tries to slip it through to Semenyo, hits a Chelsea player and Chelsea can clear it. Back to the goalkeeper in the end. Robert Sanchez takes one touch. Looks like he's going to clip it out as he to Cucurella down this near side. Just goes short in the end towards Heito. Goes back to the goalkeeper again, and this time he will go along. Sanchez, right-footed down the centre. Nobody there in a blue shirt, and rushing out of his goal is Donnarumma to set City on their way again. Touches it on to Kusanov. Ball towards Gueye. Gueye with the ball with pace out towards Doku. Doku with a little bit more pace this time. Can he make this one count, Doku? Left-hand corner of the penalty area. Again, they double up on him. Back it goes to Gueye, and out towards the left-hand touchline. And Cherki, infield to Gueye again. Again, it's so congested over on that left-hand side. Both teams preferring to attack down that left-hand side, it appears. Doku for City and Pedro Neto for Chelsea. Here's Gueye again. Rodri then goes out towards Nunes, right-hand side of the centre circle for City. Knocks one out to Semenyo. First time we've seen him on the ball for a while. Anton Semenyo. Back in field to Nunes. Leaves it for Rodri. Again, right inside of the centre circle. Plays it inside the centre circle, and Kusanov has it. Kusanov knocks it square to Marc Gueye. Chelsea doing well here to prevent City from finding a way forward. They found a ball out to Doku, but Doku had to go deep all the way back towards the halfway line, then try to slide one through towards the edge of the penalty area. Chelsea get it clear, but City will come again with Bernardo Silva. Central inside the Chelsea half. Out to Semenyo it goes. Looking to take on Cucurella again. Down the line it goes. That's a poor ball by Semenyo. And Chelsea can get it clear. They just dish it straight back to... gift it straight back to City, though. Sloppy from Chelsea. Rodri. Now Nunes. Out to this near touchline again. And Anton Semenyo, immediately infield to Cherki. Cherki ball on his left foot, though back to Kusanov again, square to Rodri. Again, Doku is free over on the far side on that left-hand touchline, but they've gone out to Semenyo this time, Manchester City. He doubled up on again by Pedro Neto, infield to Cherki, ball on his left foot. Cross is going to come in, it's an awful one from the Frenchman, and it goes behind for a goal kick. We played 25 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0. Manchester City 0 earlier on in the Premier League. It finished Crystal Palace 2, Newcastle 1. A late winner there. Penalty, in fact, coming from behind Manchester City. Osler had Newcastle in the lead just before half-time, and then Jean-Philippe Mateta did the rest. Equaliser 10 minutes from time, and then a penalty deep in stoppage time to give Palace the win. Just to give you the other results in a second, although I thought Estevao was away down that right side, but according to our linesman over the far side, it's he was in an offside position with a free kick to Manchester City. Forest 1, Villa 1. And it was an own goal from Murillo, the Brazilian, to give Villa the lead, I should say. And then Nico Williams with the equaliser shortly before half-time. No more goals in the second half. That finished Forest 1, Villa 1. And Sunderland have beaten Spurs by goals to nil. Nordi Mukiele's heavily deflected shot ended up in the back of the net, and Spurs very much in the relegation zone now after that big win for West Ham yesterday against bottom side Wolves. Wolves are on 17, Burnley 20, Spurs on 30. And West Ham 32, Forest 33, Leeds are on 33 as well. Leeds have that game in hand. Of course, they play tomorrow night against Manchester United. And for Villa, with that point, they are on 55 points. They're level on points with Manchester United before that game against Leeds tomorrow. Here comes Doku, still coming towards the edge of the penalty area. And then he just overruns it slightly, and Chelsea can get it clear. Estevao over on the far side, battling with Nico O'Reilly. And I think the referee's given a free kick, in fact. Indeed he has, for the foul on the Brazilian. And so Villa on 55, Manchester United on 55, but with the game in hand. Liverpool on 52 after their win yesterday. Chelsea, well, they are on 48 as it stands. They'll be on 49 if they get a point here today, but it's 3 points really that Chelsea require. They've got a tough run in as well. Chelsea still to come this season. They of course have an FA Cup semi-final to look forward to against Leeds United, but they've got league games as well. The next one is against Manchester United. How big is that going to be next weekend? Then they're away to Brighton, home to Forest, away to Liverpool on the 9th of May. That's going to be huge. They may even have the opportunity to relegate their bitter London rivals, Tottenham, on the 17th of May, and then they finish at the Stadium of Light against Sunderland on the 24th of May. Chelsea have a throw midway inside the City half, down the right hand side. They've gone all the way back towards the halfway line. It's inside the centre circle now with Anton towards Andre Santos. Out to Cucurella. Goes back inside his own half to Hato, and now it's central again with Andre Santos. It's Fofana. Ball over the halfway line. Lovely touch as well by João Pedro to take that ball out towards the far side. Down the line it goes to Estevao. We've seen very little of the Brazilian so far. When I say the Brazilian, I mean Estevao, of course. There's João Pedro as well. Chelsea still with possession, but back inside their own half and then looped out towards this near side. And the sun is such that when that ball came over towards Pedro Neto, he had to put his hand over his eyes to see it. In the end, City get it clear, but Chelsea will have it again. Here's Moses Caicedo. Nice turn by him onto Cole Palmer. This is promising for Chelsea until the ex-Manchester City man overruns it, but it's sloppy from City, gifting possession straight back to the West Londoners. Ball comes into the box towards João Pedro, and he just couldn't get the touch. Just couldn't get the touch, the Brazilian. It was the ball in from Gusto, right-hand side. I think he was onside as well. Really sloppy from Rodri. Really unusual for him giving the ball away. Straight to Gusto, right-footed ball in, and João Pedro, he gets there ahead of Mark Way, just sticks out the left leg. He just can't get the touch from about 8 yards out. Otherwise, that could have ended up in the back of the net. Here's Doku on the halfway line, and he's knocked it on, but he's already fouled the Chelsea player. It's going to be a free kick and a ticking off from Chris Kavanagh. The Chelsea player in question is Malo Gusto. Well, I think that's 6 of one and half a dozen of the others. I've got to be honest, I think Gusto's got a hold of Doku as much as Doku's got hold of Gusto. Now, long ball forward for Chelsea. Pedro Neto will chase it. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Do well as well, the Portuguese. Gets there ahead of Nunes. Knocks it past Nunes. What a brilliant bit of skill that was. And then Rodri comes back, puts it behind for a corner. That was superb from Neto. He's having a good game, actually. And he just nutmegs, back heel, nutmegging Nunes. Absolutely superb. Corner then for Chelsea. They've gone short once more. Cucurella gets a header across the 6-yard area. Punch clear by the goalkeeper. And then, goodness me, back towards the edge of the 6-yard area it comes. He's got a punch again there as Donnarumma gets it clear towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's Cole Palmer. Down towards the byline. Pedro Neto. And he'll take the corner again as it comes off of... well, in fact, no, it's gone behind for a goal kick. It looks as if it came off of Rodri, who back there is defending again. And it's gone behind. In fact, the flag is up. So it must have been the... just snuck beyond the last defender there, Pedro Neto, as it was touched onto him down towards the byline by Cole Palmer. Donnarumma now is having words with Chris Kavanagh, and the Italian not happy at all. We played half an hour, by the way, here at Stamford Bridge. Still Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. Still waiting for the breakthrough. Chelsea have had the ball in the net. That was ruled out for the tightest offside decisions. VAR had a look at it. In fact, the on-field decision was right. It was the flag was up, and it was a tone out. Here's Doku again, coming forward for City, and that's a poor ball forward towards, I say towards Haaland, it's nowhere near Haaland. I'm being kind to him there. It was nowhere near Haaland. It goes all the way through to Sanchez. Cucurella down the line towards Pedro Neto. If he was about 9 foot tall, he would have kept it in play. Couldn't do so. Had a play, throw in for City on the halfway line down their right-hand side. Disappointment from Neto. They played well here, Chelsea, to be fair, first 32 minutes. I think whatever happens, there's been a response. They obviously had that win against Port Vale, against lower league opposition last week in the FA Cup. But of late, their performances, their results, they have been poor. They have been disappointing. And particularly, of course, that 3-0 defeat against Everton. And that was before the international break. They lost, of course, home and away to Paris Saint-Germain. Well, there's no shame in that, I guess, losing to the European champions. They also lost here against Newcastle. And prior to that, of course, they had one of their best wins of the season. They went to Villa Park and won by 4-1. But it's been downhill ever since for Chelsea after that, until that big victory here last week against Port Vale by 7-0. Taking that competition very, very seriously, Chelsea. They've got leads in the semi-finals. Manchester City, of course, will play in the other semi-final against Southampton with that giant killing against Arsenal. And City are still on, of course, for a domestic treble. And they're coming forward now with Nico O'Reilly in inside left position. Knocks it out to Doku, 12 minutes to half-time. And Jeremy Doku goes down towards the byline. Nico O'Reilly now then, can he cut the ball back? No, he can't, because Cole Palmer is there. It's good defending, actually, from Palmer. And then he loses it, or almost loses it. And he's helped out by Andre Santos. Gets it long for City. João Pedro knocks one on. Now then, Donnarumma's coming. He's got to get there, Donnarumma. And the Italian does get there, because if he didn't, João Pedro was through on goal. Really good defending by the Italian. And then there's a coming together down this near side, which is going to result in a City free kick on the halfway line. João Pedro against Matheus Nunes. That was really good goalkeeping from Donnarumma. He had to get there. João Pedro just knocked it over the defence. And he was running through on goal, and the Italian's so quick to come off his line and knock it clear for Manchester City. Otherwise, he was running through on goal there, the ex-Brighton man. Here comes Doku again, left-hand side of the penalty area. Nico O'Reilly, can he knock it back towards Bernardo Silva? Does Haaland get there? No, he doesn't. And it's grabbed by Robert Sanchez inside his 6-yard area. Good work by City down the left-hand side. Lovely link-up play between Doku and Nico O'Reilly. I think he was just onside. Cuts it back from the dead ball line. Bernardo Silva gets a shot away. It sort of takes a deflection of the goalkeeper, and Sanchez is there to save. Grab at the second attempt before Haaland could get there. Not that Haaland would have got there, because the defender, Hato, was ahead of him anyway. Now it's Nico O'Reilly again, left to Gueye. You do feel that if City are going to find a breakthrough here, it's going to have something to do with that link-up play down that left-hand side between Nico O'Reilly and Jeremy Doku, because they've been very quiet down this right-hand side. Semenyo has barely touched the ball, but the Belgian, who has possession once more over on the far side, is the threat, it feels, for Manchester City. Infield it goes to Nico O'Reilly, back towards Kushanov, midway inside the Chelsea half, square to his right-hand side. Matheus Nunes. On it goes to Cherki, another who's been quiet for City. Back again to Nunes. Just to the right of the centre circle, Bernardo Silva now takes up possession. Is that ball going out to Doku again? He's shaping to play it out there, but in the end he just goes right to Nunes again. Nunes 40 yards from goal, out towards the inside right position, and Cherki. Ball on his left foot, still advancing towards the edge of the penalty area, knocks it out to Semenyo. Semenyo thought about getting the cross in, thought better of it, and finds Cherki. Cherki overruns it, and Chelsea can bring it clear. That was poor from Manchester City. They're in a good position there. And Chelsea now will look to break with Estevao over on the far side. He's already over the halfway line, the little Brazilian. Tracked by Gueye. Tries to get inside the England international. And in the end, Gueye just draws the foul. He just shields the ball and stops Estevao getting it, and then goes down, and Manchester City have a free kick. It's Gueye again. Level with the edge of the penalty area, and it goes to Cherki. Now Nico O'Reilly. That's a really good challenge, though, for Chelsea to win the ball back. Here's Casado. Still pinballing around over on the far side. Doku's just about kept it in play and won it back for Chelsea. And then, well, that looked like a perfectly timed challenge. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The referee's given a free kick for the long leg that was stuck out by Andre Santos. I thought he won the ball. Just looking at a replay of it. Well, do you know what? He did win the ball, but I think he fouled Doku prior to that to get in the position to slide in and win the ball back, because he had hold of the Belgian shirt, and that's why I think the referee pulled it back for the free kick, which Manchester City have already taken. Doku now back to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva loops it back out to Doku. Ball into the box isn't a good one, and Chelsea get it clear on the volley through Cole Palmer. Cleared towards the halfway line. Kushanoff will retrieve for Manchester City. On it goes to Gueye. Infield to Rodri inside the centre circle. Goes back out to Gueye again. Down the line, Doku will have another go at Gusto. And in the end, he just plays the safe ball back infield to Marc Gueye. Now Nico O'Reilly shrugs off the attentions of Andre Santos and goes back out to Doku again. Infield to Gueye. So congested again over on that far side. The Manchester City left. I mean, there must be 2, 4, 6, 8 players all within about 10 yards of each other, I would say. It's Kushanoff. They're going to switch to the right-hand side now, Manchester City, and have a go through Anton Semenyo. Now then, cuts in field, loses possession. Sloppy. Not been his day so far, Anton Semenyo. Neto can bring it clear for Chelsea. Just holds it up. Goes inside Semenyo, trips him over, and that'll be a free kick to Chelsea, just shy of the halfway line. That'll be a yellow card as well for the ex-Bournemouth man. I think he just lost his patience in the end, Chris Kavanagh. These fouls were totting up, and I think it's just the fact that the next one happened to be Anton Semenyo. I don't think that one was any worse than any of the other ones we've seen so far this afternoon. Certainly the one I mentioned earlier from Rodri, in my opinion, was worse, but it was very early on in the game, and I don't think the referee wanted to dish one out that early, which is understandable, I guess. The only other yellow card was Estevao, and that was for kicking the ball away. Here's Moses Caicedo for Chelsea, just outside the D. What about kicking long? In the end, he just goes square, and in the end, it's worked out to Cucurella down this near side. There's the ball down the line. It's cut out and put out of play by Nunes. So throw in for Chelsea on the halfway line down there, left-hand side. He's played that ball quite well, actually, a few times, Cucurella. Down the left to find Pedro Neto. On this occasion, he doesn't, because it's good work by Nunes, but it's the right play, I think, from Chelsea. It's all come down this right-hand side. Estevao continues to lurk over on the far side down the right for Chelsea, but he's been involved sparingly, should we say. Here's Hato. That towards the far side. Down the line it goes to the aforementioned Brazilian, who loses possession. Well, maybe that's why they haven't given him the ball much, because it's sloppy from him. Nico O'Reilly, and it's Bernardo Silva with a weak shot, which is gathered by Robert Sanchez. That was sloppy from Estevao, giving the ball away over on the far side. Straight to Nico O'Reilly, straight onto it. The Englishman squares it across the 18-yard line. First time shot, and a comfortable save for Robert Sanchez. Here is the Spanish goalkeeper again. Goes long, right-footed. Just about makes the halfway line. It'll fall inside the centre circle. It'll fall for Manchester City. Here's Nunes. 6 minutes to half-time. Still goalless here at Stamford Bridge. Cherki has it for City. Finds Rodri. Rodri onto Semenyo. Semenyo was sloppy last time he got the ball out here. Lost possession. This occasion he's drawn the foul, actually, from Jarrell Hato, and it'll be a free kick to Manchester City just outside the centre circle, inside the Chelsea half. They've lost it again, City. Cole Palmer, though, just overruns it over on the far side. Gueye tidies up for City and goes all the way back to Donnarumma. Donnarumma sets City on their way again. It's 4 attempts apiece. Chelsea, though, have had the bigger moments, it feels. Here's Gueye. Square to his right-hand side. Nunes, and now taken up by Bernardo Silva. On it goes to Nunes again, who's taken up a central position, then just overruns it slightly. Manages to poke it through to Semenyo. Cleared by Chelsea, but straight to Bernardo Silva. And Cherki will have it again inside the centre circle. Now Marc Gueye. Feels a very tight game, this one. You do wonder whether a goal might be enough in this game for Manchester City, or for Chelsea, of course. For City to close the gap on Arsenal. For Chelsea to close the gap on Liverpool. A big 3 points if either one of these sides can get it, and potentially 2 drop points if neither can find the win. Doku has it again, puts on the afterburners, gets the ball into the box, and it's cut out and put behind for a Manchester City corner there. Third, they've evened up that particular stat. That's how even it is here at Stamford Bridge. Goalless, 3 corners apiece. Stats-wise, Manchester City unsurprisingly dominating the ball possession, 68-32. The XG, I always think, is an interesting one to sort of gauge how a game is going, is 0.2 for Chelsea, 0.39 for Manchester City, which just surprised me slightly, I have to say, actually, with those 2 chances at the near post. Corner anyway for City. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. It won't at all. It'll be a short one to Doku. Left-hand corner of the penalty area. Gets the ball into the box. Chelsea get it clear. It'll be retrieved on the halfway line through Bernardo Silva, who gets the ball back again from Núñez. Bernardo Silva now making a run down the right-hand side for City. Down towards the byline. Can't get it past Cucurella. And between them, Cucurella and Neto, they will clear this one for Chelsea. Cucurella, on it goes to Caicedo. He's brought down by Rodri, and that'll be a free kick to Chelsea, left side of their own penalty area. Just over 3 minutes to half-time. And still goalless. The Premier League weekend will come to a climax tomorrow evening at Old Trafford with Manchester United against Leeds. Again, huge game at the top and the bottom for Manchester United. They can pull 3 points clear of Aston Villa, who've gone level on points with them today. And for Forest, of course, it's about, for Leeds I should say, it's about pulling away from the bottom 3. They're currently 3 points ahead of Spurs in the last relegation place. Huge win for them tomorrow would change all that against one of their most bitter rivals, of course, Manchester United. Cole Palmer goes out towards that far side. Down the line it goes. Here's a chance for Estevao now. Right inside of the penalty area. Still Estevao needs to release the ball, surely. It's clear towards the edge of the penalty area. Andre Santos retrieves it and goes back out towards that left-hand side. Back he goes to Andre Santos. There's the ball into the box. And there's the claim from Donnarumma right on the edge of the 6-yard area. It's a pull ball into the box. Thought about releasing it early there, Donnarumma. Obviously saw a run, I assume, from Haaland, but in the end he just throws the ball out to Gueye just on the edge of the penalty area. Over the halfway line with O'Reilly. And that's cut out as he tries to get the reverse ball from Jeremy Doku. So throw into Manchester City on the halfway line down their left-hand side. And City have it once more. Finished 2-0 this fixture last season to Manchester City, on the way to, of course, finishing 3rd in the Premier League. Here's Rodri. Back it goes to Nico O'Reilly. Rodri again, left-hand side of the centre circle. Finds Kushyanov inside that centre circle. Now Matheus Núñez finds Semenyo, hugging the touchline down this near side. The Manchester City number 42 immediately plays it back inside his own half to Matheus Núñez. Núñez onto Rodri. Bernardo Silva now. He's going to go long towards Haaland. There's the header clear for Chelsea, and Caicedo has it. Caicedo touches it back towards Fofana, and in the end tidied up by Andre Santos. Back to Robert Sanchez. Playing out from the back here, Chelsea. They've got to be careful. And they do get it clear, but they only find Rodri. Can City take advantage of that sloppiness? Bernardo Silva on towards the D, and it's Cherki. Cherki could have had a shot there. I'm sure he could have just opened up quite nicely for him there on the edge of the penalty area. In the end, the ball looped out towards the far side. It's cut out by Hato, but City will pick up the pieces again. Chelsea get it clear once more towards the edge of the centre circle, and it's Kushyanov out towards Gueye. We're inside the last minute of the first half. Always a big time to get a goal just before half-time. Can change half-time team talks and the way in which teams approach the second half. Anton Semenyo has it right inside of the penalty area for Manchester City. Working space for the shot. Ball on his left foot. Gets the shot in and drags it wide of the goalkeeper's left-hand post. And has it taken a deflection and gone behind? Semenyo just dancing his way across the 18-yard line. And it does take a little touch. There's just a little touch there from Andre Santos to give Manchester City a corner as we head into stoppage time. I don't think there'll be a great deal of stoppage time. There was that check for the VAR for the Chelsea goal that was disallowed, but that was, to be fair, cleared up very, very quickly. I'll give VAR its props and its dues for that one. In comes this corner towards the far post. I think it's evaded absolutely everybody. It was Mark Gueye at the far post who was trying to get in there for Manchester City. Left-footed in-swinger Yeah, didn't touch anybody in the end. It was floated in from Bernardo Silva, left-footed, curling towards the far post, goes behind, and it looks like we're going in goalless at half-time here at Stamford Bridge. A game that neither team really want to drop points in. Neither team, you'd feel, would settle for the point. Of course, they'd rather get the point than lose the game, but as I mentioned earlier, you do wonder, the longer the game goes on and it remains goalless, whether one of these teams decides to stick or twist. Keeper goes long. There's a coming together there between João Pedro and Kusnov, and the referee's seen that in favour of the Brazilian, and Chelsea will have an opportunity right at the end of the first half here with a free kick midway inside the Manchester City half, about 15 yards infield from the left-hand touchline. It's going to be taken by, well, it looks like Pedro Neto, although Cole Palmer's come across now as well. And just one last moment possibly at the end of this first half to break the deadlock in a really tight game here in West London. It will be Pedro Neto to take it left-footed. The Manchester City defensive line is right on the edge of the penalty area. Cole Palmer walks away. Neto, in it comes. And there's the free header at the far post, which is ballooned over the bar by Andre Santos. And there goes the half-time whistle. Both teams need the 3 points. At the moment, neither of them are getting it. Half-time here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. We'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half. Thunder here. We're in Stamford Bridge for this Premier League game. 4:30 kick-off, half-time here between Chelsea and Manchester City, and it's goalless in a game that really both teams need to win. As it stands, if it remains goalless and finishes a point apiece, Manchester City will be 8 points behind Arsenal with a game in hand, and Chelsea will be 3 behind Liverpool in that 5th and final Champions League qualification spot. Big 45 minutes you feel here at Stamford Bridge. So game gets underway in the second half. Chelsea in their usual home strip, the royal blue shirts and shorts, white socks, and a change strip for City, the sort of grey silvery kit with the luminous yellow trim, the luminous yellow socks as well. No changes to tell you about at half-time. The personnel remains as it did at the beginning of the first half. So Chelsea with Sanchez in goal, back four from left to right. Cucurella, Heto, Fofana and Gusto. Then Caicedo and Andre Santos in midfield behind Neto, Cole Palmer, Estevao. João Pedro leads the line ahead of Cole Palmer. Here's Bernardo Silva right at the start of the second. Tries to knock it back out to Doku, but it's ahead of the Belgian, and it goes out of play for a Chelsea throw in their right back position. So City's line up then. Donnarumma in goal, back four from left to right. O'Reilly, Gueye, Kusanov and Nunes. Then Rodri and Silva. Doku out on the left, Semenyo over on the right, Cherki off of Haaland. Semenyo is on a yellow for City, Estevao is on a yellow for Chelsea. On the benches for Chelsea, Agnapong, Adarabio, Delap, Esugu, Garnacho, Gueye, Lavia, Sarr and Sherman Lowe. And for City, 8 Nori, Ake, Foden, Kovacic, Marmoush, Nico. Here's Haaland inside the penalty. A big moment for Haaland. Brilliant block. Falls to Bernardo Silva. Gets it back into the mix, and Chelsea get it clear. That was a big moment right at the start of the second half. Suddenly, Erling Haaland found some space inside that Chelsea penalty area. They'll come again down the left-hand side here. Manchester City with Jeremy Doku. Back in field to Nico O'Reilly. Is he going to get the ball into the mix? No, he's not. He goes back to Kusanov. Strong start to the second half here from a Manchester City desperate for the 3 points. Well, desperate, just as desperate as Chelsea are for the 3 points, aren't they, really? Here's Cherki, gets the shot in. I think it was a Sayer shot, may have been a cross. Drilled across the face of goal, takes a deflection, goes behind corner for Manchester City right at the start of the second. So their bench is 8 Nori, Ake, Foden, Kovacic, Marmoush, Nico Gonzalez, Reinders, Savinho and Trafford. And our referee is Chris Kavanagh from Manchester, and Manchester City have their 4th corner of the afternoon. It'll be taken from this near side. It'll be taken by Ryan Cherki. Right-footed in swing. It's a dreadful corner right into the near post, but you'll get another opportunity because the clearance from Cole Palmer, I think it was sliced and goes behind for another corner. City goes short on this occasion. Doku down towards the byline. He goes, overruns it. It's behind it. It's a goal kick. Doku wants, well, he wants either a penalty or a corner. He's not going to get either. And just looking at a replay, Cole Palmer just gets ahead of him. And no, it's never a penalty. He just slips over, actually, looking at it, Doku. He just slides down towards the byline. But looking at a replay of this chance some moments ago, Doku had it down the left-hand side. Lovely ball through to Haaland. His first touch is brilliant. Opens up his body, right-footed shot. And it's a brilliant block from Heto. Pulls the trigger, right-footed. And it's heading towards that far post, and it may have ended up in the back of the net as well for Manchester City as Sanchez goes long for Chelsea. Looking for Estevao. It's headed clear, though, by Kusanov. Rodri tidies up and goes back to Gueye just on the edge of the 18-yard line. Back to Rodri again, the Manchester City captain. I've seen a great deal of the 2 Brazilians for Chelsea so far this afternoon. João Pedro had one run down the heart of the Manchester City defence in the first half. Estevao's been very quiet. Most of their good moments have come down their left-hand side with the link-up between Cucurella and Pedro Neto. Here comes City with Cherki, right side of the penalty. It's going to be another corner for Manchester City. They've started this second half with intent, it feels. And the latest corner is one following that ball hitting Heto at the near post. And City have levelled up the corner stats here at Stamford Bridge. It's 5 apiece. And the most important stat, the only stat that counts in football, is also level. It's goalless. Left-footed in swinging corner coming in from that far side for City. It's not a particularly good one. Doesn't beat the first man. And Chelsea go long. It'll be retrieved inside the centre circle from Nunes. Just takes it towards the left of the centre circle. The Portuguese. And then finds Rodri. Rodri all the way back to Gueye inside the centre circle. Curls one out towards the far side. Here's Cherki again. Estevao is there. He just knocks it out towards the right-hand touchline. Down the line it goes. Here's Anton Semenyo. He had a quiet first half for Manchester City, as he looks to take on Cucurella. Goes back down the line again to Cherki. 1-2 between himself and Rodri. He's going to poke it back out again to Semenyo. Semenyo goes back down the line rather than getting the ball in to the box. And Cherki does eventually gets the ball in. There's the header, there's the goal for Manchester City. And it's Nico O'Reilly. They've started this second half with intent, Manchester City. And they've got the goal that gives them the lead. A big goal today. And a big goal potentially in the title race. The ball comes in from the far side. And O'Reilly, just like he did at Wembley, has got the goal with his head. And he's got a big goal. He won Manchester City the League Cup against Arsenal that day at Wembley, and he may have scored a goal that narrows the gap at the top of the table to the Gunners. 51 minutes, Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1. Semenyo knocks it back to Cherki. He didn't fancy getting the ball into the box. Cherki certainly did. He's definitely onside, and he gets there ahead of, I think it's Hato, on the edge of the 6-yard area. Simple header, simple goal. And they can be that simple sometimes in football, can't they? They've huffed and they've puffed Manchester City, but they've got the goal that they wanted. And as it stands, they are closing the gap at the top of the table to 6 points. And they'll still have that game in hand. What a big player Nico O'Reilly is becoming for Manchester City. Is he the man for the big occasion? Well, it certainly appears that way at the moment as he ran off after heading that one in to the City fans who were behind that goal towards our left-hand side, the shed end here at Stamford Bridge. City started the second half really well, and they've got their just desserts. They've got their goal. Now, will they push on for a second? Of course, the game earlier on in the season, they led that one for a long time at the Etihad, and Manchester City were pegged back with virtually the last kick of the game, and it was the man, of course, who's not here today. Well, he is here today, but he's not playing. He's in the crowd. Enzo Fernandez, of course. He got the equaliser late on as Manchester City just sort of sat back and tried to hang on, and it didn't work out for Pep Guardiola's men. They won't want to make the same mistake this afternoon here at Stamford Bridge. They want to try and get that second goal to kill this game. Chelsea can still be dangerous. They showed enough in the first half to suggest that as well. But at the moment, they are heading to another defeat. And they've gone long now. Underneath it is Núñez with the header clear out towards the far side. There's Rodri back to Núñez again. Just about keeps the ball in play, but then overruns it slightly. Cucurella, and then plays it off of, well, I thought he played it off of Núñez, but it's ricocheted back off of the Spaniard, so it'll be a throw-in for Manchester City on the halfway line down their right-hand side. City, of course, who had drawn their previous 2 league games, seems a long time ago now, which swung the championship pendulum in favour of Arsenal. It still is, to be fair, in favour of Arsenal. But with that big game to come at the Etihad next Sunday, that's the 4:30 kickoff next Sunday, that could be huge. There was a situation developing where Arsenal potentially could have gone to the Etihad and lost, and it still wouldn't have made a lot of difference. Here comes City again for a second. Semenyo curls it towards the far post, and it goes wide. It goes well wide in the end. He just couldn't dig the ball out in the end. The ball over the top, we might just have been offside. He gets there ahead of Cucurella, brings the ball down beautifully inside the penalty, cuts inside Cucurella, and then left-footed tries to curl it towards that far post. We've seen him do it so many times, Semenyo, and I think it's just that intervention from the Spaniard Cucurella that does enough for Chelsea, but it will be a Manchester City corner. And they're sort of hanging on here, Chelsea, at the moment. They went toe-to-toe with Manchester City in the first half, but they've not come out of the trap so far. Here comes the cross, the corner, and it's headed clear on the edge of the 6-yard area out towards the far side. It'll be retrieved by Bernardo Silva for City. Marc Cucurella, I'm being told, has been booked, and I'm not entirely sure what for, but I have had confirmation that he's on a yellow, the ex-Brighton man. Second yellow of the afternoon for Chelsea. It's Estevao and Cucurella, and Nico O'Reilly, of course, for Anton Semenyo, I should say, for Manchester City, got a booking in the first half, which I think he was quite unlucky about, actually. It was just that there were a few Manchester City fouls in a row. I think neither of them were punished, and in the end, he was the man who was given the yellow card, I think, just for the referee to make a point. The referee, Chris Kavanagh. City again have possession right inside of the Chelsea penalty area. And City have this game at the moment where they want it. They have the lead. And no team over the last decade in the Premier League has been better at protecting a lead and killing a game of football and holding possession, controlling it, than Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, who are sniffing another Premier League title, hunting down Arsenal, just as they did 3 years ago, of course, in similar circumstances. And there was a big game in the run-in there where Manchester City played Arsenal at the Etihad. Long ball over the top now for City. There's the cross towards Haaland. Can he get there? No, he can't. Good defending by Wesley Fofana to head the ball over the bar and behind for another Manchester City corner. The ball over the top. The run was made. The looping cross from Nunes. And it's a good header, actually, from the defender to get there before Haaland and head it behind for another Manchester City corner. They've taken from this near side. Haaland, of course, looking to add to his 33 goals this season. Across comes Cherki to take this latest corner for City. Is he going to go for the short one when he thought about it and then thinks better of it? And then does in the end take the short one anyway to Doku. Jeremy Doku then, looking to take on Cole Palmer, who's had a very quiet day against his former side. Cherki, edge of the penalty area, working space for the shot. Cherki, right foot, can he get the ball into the box? He can. Here's a chance for 2-0 to Manchester City, and it is 2-0, and it's Mark Guéhi who slid that one into the corner. Brilliant finish from the defender, and it's the defenders who are doing all the work for Manchester City today. 2 goals in the first 12 minutes of the second half have surely killed this game at Stamford Bridge, and Manchester City will be cutting the lead at the top of the table to 6 points, and they're sniffing it. They're smelling blood here, Manchester City, in the title race. They've come out superbly in this second half after a sour first 45 minutes, and they seem to have got the job done. They went for the short corner, linked up well between Cherki and Jeremy Doku. Doku goes back to Cherki just on the left-hand corner of the penalty area. He dances across the 18-yard line, and then he just slips a beautiful ball through. But I've got to tell you, what a first touch by Guéhi. About 12 yards out, he kills the ball with that touch. He really does, which makes space for the shot. And then right-footed, he drills it beyond the goalkeeper, across the face of the goal, into the bottom corner. It's a lovely finish. I tell you, it's a lovely finish for any player, but it's particularly a lovely finish from a defender. And it's Mark Guéhi who came in that transfer window, of course, for Manchester City in the winter transfer window in January to help this team win trophies. He's already won one, and they're looking for another couple, aren't they, Manchester City? The FA Cup and potentially another Premier League title. And it's a long, long way back now for Chelsea. It's bad news for Arsenal, but it's good news for the teams at the top chasing those Champions League qualification spots, because at the moment, as it stands, Chelsea are losing ground. They're going to be 4 points behind Liverpool. They're going to be 7 behind Villa, 7 behind Manchester United. Manchester United got a game in hand as well. Let's not forget they play tomorrow night against Leeds United, and it's going to be a tough ask for Chelsea to come back, particularly with their run-in that they've got as Gusto goes back to Sanchez. Sanchez goes low out towards that far side for Chelsea. They're going to have to try and turn the tide here, Chelsea. They've been completely outplayed since the break. Even first half, I've got to be honest. And in fact, Chelsea they certainly didn't have the better of it possession-wise, but I think as far as the goal attempts, they had the better of it. They had the ball in the back of the net as well. That was a tight call for offside, which VAR had a look at after Mark Cucurella slammed the ball into the bottom of the net. But since the second half, my goodness, 82% for Manchester City against 18 for Chelsea. And they're sending out a message here, Manchester City, ahead of that game at the Etihad next week. And if they can win that game at the Etihad, the title will be in their hands. They would, if they do get the 3 points here and win at the Etihad, they'd be 3 points behind Arsenal with a game in hand. They might have a slightly inferior goal difference, but nothing that they couldn't wipe out. And in fact, of course, if they did manage to beat Arsenal by maybe 2 or 3 goals, that could make a huge difference. Semenyo now making a run down the right side. Maybe they can bolster their goal difference today here at Stamford Bridge with an hour played. They've got 2 already, and Semenyo draws the foul from Caicedo, who barely goes a game without getting a yellow card. I'm not sure he's going to go in Chris Kavanagh's book for that one. And but it will be a free kick to Manchester City. Midway inside the Chelsea half, just a yard or 2 infield from the right-hand side. Chelsea heading to their 5th home defeat of the season. And, well, they failed to win a home league game since January. In fact, they risk going 4 without a win. They've drawn 2 and lost 1 of their last 3 here at Stamford Bridge in the league. Cross comes in towards Haaland. It's not quite going to find the Norwegian. Chelsea get it clear towards the edge of the penalty area. Doku retrieves it. They want more here, Manchester City. They're going for the kill while the going is good, and it's really good at the moment. Nico O'Reilly, low ball into the box. Will it fall for Doku? Doku, could he get the ball out from under his feet? No, he can't. Estevao then draws the foul from yes, it is Nico O'Reilly on the edge of the penalty area. It'll be a free kick to Chelsea on the edge of their own penalty area. We played an hour here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 2. And suddenly things are looking good for Manchester City. And it's such a change, isn't it, from those couple of games where they dropped points and appeared to sort of write themselves out of the title race. At no stage did Pep Guardiola say that, by the way, but it was looking pretty desperate. But the combination of that defeat for Arsenal against Bournemouth yesterday, plus the fact obviously they beat the Gunners in that League Cup final against Wembley, that inflicted a blow as well as winning a trophy. And suddenly, with that game to come at the Etihad, I don't think there's any question that if Manchester City get the win today and they were also to beat Arsenal next Sunday, I don't think anybody would write against Manchester City winning yet another Premier League title. Chelsea won the ball back on the halfway line. We've seen nothing from them attacking-wise in this second half. I'm not going to see anything again because Pedro Neto has overrun the ball and City can bring it away. There's a little bit of concern here for City because down has gone Nico O'Reilly, the scorer of that first goal, and he looks a little bit uncomfortable. The trainer is on. 62 minutes played. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 2. 2 goals in 6 minutes. Nico O'Reilly in the 51st, Mark Guay in the 57th. And all that attacking talent, of course. Erling Haaland, Cherki, Semenyo, Doku. But it's been the left back and the centre back who've got the goals for Pep Guardiola as they look to regain the Premier League title that they lost last year convincingly, of course, in the end to Liverpool. They ended up finishing 3rd, of course, after a real sort of mid-season collapse. They got themselves together towards the end of the season, but by that stage it was too late and the title had gone. They also had an FA Cup final to look forward to, which they ultimately lost, and they ended up, for just the second time under Pep Guardiola, trophyless. Well, they're not going to be trophyless this season, whatever happens, because they've already got the League Cup. But they want the domestic treble, which they've already won before, of course. They've won the treble that Manchester United won, of course, in 1999. They emulated that one with the Premier League, FA Cup and the Champions League. Of course, that was 3 seasons ago. They beat Arsenal to the title on that occasion as well. Nico O'Reilly then, I think, is going to be replaced. A little bit of concern for the England international. He's going to be replaced by Ryan Aït-Nouri. He's gone straight down the tunnel as Nico O'Reilly. But he's got the goal and he's delivered the goods for Pep Guardiola this afternoon as Manchester City look for their 8th away Premier League win of the season. And this one could yet be the most important of all of them in closing that gap at the top of the table. And if you compare the Arsenal performance yesterday, just cut off a minute because City have sloppily given the ball away. Now can Chelsea take advantage? Estevao pokes it back to Cole Palmer. Now Andres Santos being joined by Gusto. It's the first time we've seen Chelsea anywhere near the Manchester City penalty area in this second half, and they've lost possession, and now Doku can break, and still Doku out towards the left hand side of the penalty area. It wasn't a great ball by the Belgian, and has it gone behind for a goal kick? Indeed it was. Disappointing there from Doku because the run was being made by Ryan Aït-Nouri. He absolutely busted a gut there to get forward to provide the overlap, and the ball was played towards the Algerian, but it had too much pace on it. Chelsea are readying a change. Looks like Alejandro Garnacho is being readied for Liam Rosenior. And Chelsea, well, it was all looking okay until half-time, wasn't it? But you've got to take your hats off to Manchester City for the way they came out with real intent at the start of this second half, and that was mentioned yesterday, wasn't it? The Emirates, the lack of intent from Arsenal, pretty much from the first whistle. Well, it took them a time to get going, didn't it? It wasn't great in the first half, but the second half, my goodness, they've come out and they've set their stall out. And as it stands at the moment, they're going to get these big, big 3 points. And of course, let's not forget that they're out of the Champions League, of course, knocked out by Real Madrid. But obviously what that does mean is they get a little bit of a rest in midweek, whereas Arsenal have a big Champions League game on Wednesday night, their second. Here's Cherki, ball comes into the box, they look for another one, but it's straight into the arms of Robert Sanchez. They have a big game Wednesday night against Sporting Lisbon in that second leg in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but Manchester City will not now play for a week. Here's João Pedro out towards Cucurella as Chelsea come forward, plenty forward as well. Neto inside the box, as is Cole Palmer. There's a shot from Cole Palmer, takes a deflection, and it's Gueye who does well, puts it behind. It's a corner for Chelsea. That was better from Liam Rosenior's men. Cucurella racing down that left-hand side, cuts it into the penalty area, and the left-footed shot, first time from Cole Palmer, takes a nick off of the man who got Manchester City's second goal. It's gone behind for a Chelsea corner over on the far side to Chelsea left. Then it comes from Neto, and there's the header towards the far post, and Donnarumma just gets something on it to get it clear for Manchester City. They'll come again, Chelsea. Cole Palmer now, left-hand side of the penalty area, down towards the byline. Is he going to cut it back? Still has possession, down towards the byline he goes again, and I'm sure he's overrun it there, and indeed he has. It's gone behind for a goal kick. Well, he had an opportunity. It was a strange one. He sort of made his way down towards the byline, reluctantly decided not to cut the ball back, and then chopped it onto his right foot, then back onto his left again, and then he overran it. So here comes Alejandro Garnacho, the man who came in for 46 million euros from Manchester United, of course, and he's going to replace the number 17. In fact, they're going to make a double change. Esteval's coming off as well. So Esteval is off, as is Andres Santos for Chelsea. It's a double change, and it's Romeo Lavia, the Belgian, the number 45, who did start in that game against Port Vale last weekend in the FA Cup, in that victory that saw Chelsea through. Chelsea, of course, still can win silverware this season. Here comes City again with Semenyo. There's the shot, and it's a tame one, straight into the arms of Robert Sanchez. And of course, these two teams could well meet in the FA Cup final. They're through for a third here. City, Doku, awful from Chelsea, given away on the edge of their penalty area by Wesley Fofana, and Jeremy Doku says thank you very much, and it's Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3, and it's game over here at Stamford Bridge. And Wesley Fofana, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if he didn't realise maybe that Doku was there to pick his pocket, but Doku made no mistake, raced into the penalty area, left-footed, unleashed the shot beyond Robert Sanchez. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3, and I'll tell you what, this is really helping as far as the goal difference goes as well for Pep Guardiola's men. And it's Jeremy Doku, the Belgian, who's got the goal in the 68th minute. It was all came about. Semenyo had the shot that was saved by Sanchez. Sanchez bowls it out, and it's just gifted. In fact, I tell a lie. I've got to take back what I said about Wesley Fofana. It was Moses Caicedo, of all people, that lost it. I don't think he wanted possession anyway. It was in between two City players. He overruns it. Doku picks his pocket. He's through into the penalty area with one touch, and then his second touch left-footed beyond Robert Sanchez, and that is game over. There's no coming back from here. I don't think they're going to come back from 2-0. They're certainly going to not come back from 3-0, and Manchester City can relax and start thinking about a match against Arsenal next week. On the Sunday, the 4:30 kickoff, a game that could decide the Premier League title in 2025-26. And on this particular outing, particularly the second half as well, coupled with Arsenal's performance yesterday at the Emirates, you certainly wouldn't back against Manchester City getting the 3 points next week, and Manchester City then going on and winning this Premier League title. Their remaining fixtures, by the way, it's the game against Arsenal, of course, next week. They then go to Burnley on the 22nd of April. They then got their FA Cup semi-final against Southampton. 4th of May, they go to the Hill Dickinson to play Everton in their new stadium. They're then at home to Brentford on the 9th of May. They then go to Bournemouth on the 17th. As the ball's flashed across the face of goal, João Pedro can't get there for Chelsea. Bournemouth on the 17th, that's their last away game. And then they end at home to Aston Villa on the 24th of May. And they do have another game as well, because they've still got a game against Crystal Palace, which is the game they would have played on the weekend that they played the League Cup final, and that's still to be rearranged. I think the Premier League are waiting to see what happens with Chelsea and Manchester City in the FA Cup. And so it could be quite late on in May that one is played towards the end of the season. It's Pedro Neto right inside of the penalty area. There's the cross, decent delivery, headed clear towards the edge of the penalty area by Manchester City. Then falls for Caicedo, probably looking to make up for his error. He gets a shot in, it's blocked by Kusanov. Falls for Chelsea down this near side. Pedro Neto loses it, wants a free kick, not going to get it, and Manchester City can bring it away. Here's Gueye, now Rodri just slightly overruns it. Chelsea win it back edge of the penalty area with Cole Palmer. Rodri has stayed down. Cucurella's going to get a shot in, and it flashes just wide of the goalkeeper's left-hand post and behind for a goal kick. I think that Donnarumma probably had that one covered. It's a crunching challenge by Moses Caicedo, by the way, on Rodri. I'm quite surprised that wasn't given as a free kick. And eventually it fell to the feet of Cucurella. Left-footed, about 25 yards from goal. Drills it. Maybe no, actually looking at a replay of it, I think he would have beaten Donnarumma had it been on target. It wasn't. And how different this game might have been if Cucurella had cut his toenails before this game, because he would have been onside in that first half of that goal. A little bit of concern here for Manchester City then with Rodri being down. It was a crunching challenge by Moses Caicedo. Chelsea's remaining fixtures then between now and the end of the season. They've got that huge game against Manchester United next weekend. They then go to Brighton on the 21st. They then got their FA Cup semi-final against Leeds on the 26th. Then home to Forest on the 4th. Then they go to Anfield on the 9th. Home to Tottenham on the 17th. And away to Sunderland on the 24th. I tell you what, there doesn't seem to be any match there that you think is a given. I mean, they've got teams, they're playing teams who've got something to play for. Although, looking at the Premier League table, most teams do have something to play for. And certainly, next up, it'll be Manchester United. Brighton, do they have an outside chance of qualifying for Europe? Well, they're going to be, or they are on 46 points, and they're going to be 2 points behind Chelsea. It's really getting congested there now, as there's now that little gap that's opened up between Chelsea and Liverpool. Brentford are a point behind Chelsea on 47. Everton also on 47. Then it's Brighton on 46. Sunderland on 46. Bournemouth on 44. Fulham on 42. Then it's Palace and Newcastle on 42. So there's only 5 points, or 6 points I should say. There's only 6 points separating 6th, which will be a Europa League place, 6th and 14th. And then all the teams below that, of course, are involved in the relegation scrap for that last place. We know that Wolves and Burnley are almost certainly going to go on. Rodri's back on his feet, by the way. Game... or is he being... No, he's not. He's off the field, actually. I should tell a lie. He's off the field and receiving attention from the trainer. Hopefully he'll be okay. So Manchester City momentarily are down to 10 men. Here's Cole Palmer. He's had another quiet game against his former side. Goes out to João Pedro. Left-hand side of the penalty here. Cole Palmer again. Just overruns it slightly. It just shows a little bit too much of it to Bernardo Silva, who clears down the line for Manchester City. Retrieved by João Pedro. He's going to go for a shot from about 35 yards. Hits a City player on the edge of the penalty area. It rebounds all the way back towards the halfway line. And back it goes all the way to Wesley Fofana for Chelsea. How do they recover from this, Chelsea? From this second half performance and their form of late, it's just not been good enough. And at the moment, it's not going to be good enough for a Champions League qualification. And the best bet for success this season may well lie in that FA Cup. Of course, they've got to overcome Leeds first of all in an FA Cup semi-final, and then potentially the team they're playing today in the final. Well, there was a stage this season where it felt like it might be a quiet season for Manchester City, just as it was last season. And now suddenly they could be looking at a domestic treble, which of course had never been done before they did it a few years ago. Here's Bernardo Silva. Infield it goes to Mark Guay. Guay goes back out towards this near side. It's Doku, left-hand side of the penalty area. Back infield to Guay. An important goal that was, that second goal for Manchester City. Kushinov's going to have a strike here. Goes for goal! What an effort, right-footed, goodness me, from the centre-back. Well, we've already seen two of the back four score to date, so why not Kushinov as well? 35 yards out, he absolutely drills that one to the goalkeeper's right-hand side. In the end, it's all probably about 4 yards wide, but he's really got hold of that, did the Uzbekistan international. Chelsea going to make, in fact, both teams are going to make some changes. We're going to see a couple of changes here for City, and Cherki's afternoon is over, as is Jeremy Doku. He's put in a shift down the left-hand side for Manchester City and gets the high fives on the touchline. And on comes Savinho, who may well see the exit door in the summer. You do wonder with Savinho, he's getting so few opportunities. Foden is the other player to come on for City, who is struggling this season to hold down a first-team place for Manchester City. And that despite, of course, winning the Player of the Year award only a couple of seasons ago. Well, he wants to be on that plane, doesn't he, for England? But if he's going to get on that plane, he needs to be playing first-team football for Manchester City between now and the end of the season. Chelsea coming forward over the halfway line, down this near side with Gusto. Gusto infield to Fofana. Fofana knocks one over the top towards João Pedro. Can he bring it out of the air and find Cole Palmer? And he does find Cole Palmer, who can't control it. And Manchester City can get it clear. Here's Rodri. Infield to Foden, gets his first touch off the bench. What an impress here, Phil Foden. Coming off the bench, back it goes to Bernardo Silva just outside the D. 13 minutes left for play here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3. A really, really good performance second half this for Manchester City. Real intent. And letting Arsenal know that they are breathing down their necks prior to that big game next week at the Etihad. The gap is going to be 6 points, which means if Manchester City can win next week at the Etihad, the gap will be 3 points, and they will have that game against Crystal Palace in hand still to come. It sets it up nicely, doesn't it? Chelsea win the ball back on the halfway line, and Alejandro Garnacho goes back to Cucurella. Now it's Jarrah Hato. Comes out towards this near side, and then back infield immediately to the substitute Romeo Lavia. Goes all the way back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Here's Fofana. And it goes to Cucurella. Now it's Caicedo over the halfway line, pokes it out to Pedro Neto, gets too much on it, and it's out of play. It'll be a Manchester City throw-in midway inside their own half down their left-hand side. Here's Mark Guay, and then swept back to the goalkeeper by the now left-back, or Ryan Nouri, the Algerian. Here's Rodri. He's absolutely fine, by the way, Rodri, after that clattering that he got from Moses Caicedo about 5 or so minutes ago, which wasn't called back for a free kick. Concern initially for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, but the Manchester City captain is all well again, and Manchester City are all well again, and here they come again. The only thing we haven't had is a goal from Haaland, and in the end it fell for Semenyo on the edge of the penalty, a right-footed curler towards the far post, but well over the crossbar and into the shed end. Behind for a goal kick, just over 11 minutes left for play now here at Stamford Bridge. Blue seats starting to appear around the stand as the Chelsea faithful try and beat the traffic. Long ball down the centre to João Pedro. He's in between two Chelsea players. Not going to work out for him. He is Chelsea's top scorer this season, João Pedro, 19 in all competitions. But it does feel a lot of those goals came earlier on in the season. He made a really good start, didn't he? Particularly in that World Club Championship, which Chelsea, of course, won. They are the World Club champions. Here's Semenyo. Semenyo advancing towards the edge of the penalty. Is this 4-0 for City? Going to go for goal, and I think he made the wrong decision. I think he could have played in Haaland there. tried to curl it towards the goalkeeper's left-hand side and didn't get the connection he wanted. And it goes harmlessly through to Robert Sanchez. So as far as the goal difference goes, I mean, it could be big, couldn't it, the goal difference? Manchester City with this win are going to be on plus 34. Arsenal are on plus 38. Now, that is a 4 difference, but of course, all that would take is a 2-0 win or a 3-1 win. You know, a goal from a win by 2 goals next week at the Etihad, and it's going to be level because it would be 36 each. So there's Manchester City could easily, I say easily, it's not insurmountable, let's put it that way. We have seen before teams at the top with a goal difference far better than teams that are chasing. That's not the case here. Here's some changes. We're going to see for Manchester City, Mateo Kovacic coming on for Bernardo Silva. And we're going to see a double change as well for Chelsea, I think. Double change. Liam Delap is one of them that's going to come on. I can see that. Here comes Bernardo Silva towards the touchline. Kovacic, high fives again on that touchline. They've done a professional job here, Manchester City. They've been really, really good in the second half. And Chelsea, who at half-time were well in this game, have been completely outrun. So it's Dario Esugo, the Portuguese, who's going to be the other one to come off. João Pedro is coming towards the touchline to be replaced, and a really dejected-looking face as well from the ex-Brighton man. And the other one to be replaced is Moses Caicedo, who of course was heavily at fault for that goal in the 68th minute from Jeremy Doku, the third. The icing on the cake really for Manchester City with that third goal, as he picked the pocket of the Ecuadorian, the Chelsea captain. Ball is loose over on the far side. Chelsea have come away with it. Here's Gusto back towards the edge of the penalty area, and then Fofana. Semenyo almost picks his pocket, but in the end it goes back to Robert Sanchez on the edge of the 6-yard area, and then he just knocks one out towards Dario Esugo. On it goes towards Gusto. Gusto brings the ball over the halfway line. Now Pedro Neto had a really good first half. Neto, we've barely seen him in the second half. Cole Palmer sweeps one out towards that left-hand side. The run is being made by Alejandro Garnacho, who gets there, the Argentinian. Is back in field and just knocks to the right-hand side. Sugo again. Back out towards Alejandro Garnacho. City have got everybody back behind the ball. Here's Cucurella. Cucurella infield to Lavia. Lavia gets the ball in. Chance for Russ. Chelsea, there's the header from Cucurella. Blocked by Donnarumma. Well, he's had nothing to do in this second half, Donnarumma. When he was caught upon there, he made the save. The ball comes in from Lavia. Cucurella 6 yards out with the header, and he can't get it beyond the big Italian, who closes him down so quickly and pushes it clear. By far and away the best opportunity Chelsea have had in this second half. Here they come again with Esugo. Square to Cole Palmer's left. Cucurella, edge of the penalty. This is well worked by Chelsea. They're going to get a free kick as well. Edge of the D for the foul. Just to the right-hand side of the D. So Chelsea have a free kick in a dangerous position. Good link-up play between Gusto and Cole Palmer. And it was the challenge in the end by Rayan Aït-Nouri, bringing down Gusto. And it will be a free kick to Chelsea, just to the right of the D. Any goal now for Chelsea is going to be nothing more than a consolation here, trailing by 3-0 with just over 6 minutes left to play. But Cole Palmer against his former side, he's had a very quiet afternoon, but he could make his mark on the game here with this goal, with this free kick, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself. With his free kick, 20 yards from goal, right of the D, as Manchester City prepare their wall. Savinho is the draft excluder behind that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man wall for Manchester City. Cole Palmer, left-footed, will unquestionably take it for Chelsea. And we've got 6 minutes left on the clock as Chelsea attack the Matthew Harding stand towards our right-hand side. The referee, Chris Kavanagh, finally is happy with that wall. Now what can Cole Palmer produce here against his former side? Referee's finally happy. Cole Palmer, and he gets it on target. He curled it around the wall low towards the goalkeeper's right hand side, but it's a comfortable save in the end for Donnarumma. just didn't get enough power on it, really, more than anything else. The placement isn't too bad. Donnarumma goes low out to Gueye. Gueye onto Semenyo. Loses possession down this near side, but does well to win it back. Wins the ball off of Asugo. It's a little bit scrappy down this near side, but now City come away with it. Haaland now. Haaland advancing towards the edge of the penalty area. Good time challenge by Asugo to win the ball back just on the edge of the D. Chelsea bring it clear and then give possession straight back to Manchester City. Here they come again. Here's Cole Palmer. Switches play out towards this left-hand side. Here's Ryan Norrie. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Can he get in between two Chelsea players? He does, and he gets the cross in. And it hits a Chelsea player in the form of Dario Asugo. And it goes behind for Manchester City's 8th corner of the afternoon. We're inside the last 5 now here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3. The goals from Nico O'Reilly, Mark Gueye and Jeremy Doku in a 17-minute period in the first 20 minutes of the, or 25 I should say, minutes of the second half. Corner from this near side, then Ryan Norrie to take it, left-footed. Drills it in towards that near post, and Chelsea managed to get it clear, but it'll be retrieved for Manchester City inside the centre circle through Matheus Nunes, who goes low out towards the far side. The Manchester City right, Savinho, I think that's his first touch actually, the Brazilian, since he's come on. It goes all the way towards the halfway line, and it's Kusanov inside the centre circle, floats one out towards the side. Lovely ball out towards Norrie and acres of space. He tries to get the cross in. That one hits Joro Hato, and it's gone behind for another Manchester City corner. Their 9th now of the afternoon. As you just see Noel Gallagher making his way towards the exit just to avoid the traffic. Happy with what he's seen from his side this afternoon with this comfortable victory. And there'll be another corner for his side from this near side. Phil Foden's going to take it, left-footed out swinging. Drills it in. There's the flick on at the near post. I'll tell you what, it was a good flick on as well, and it fell in the end at the far post for Delap, who gets it clear for Chelsea out towards the far side. So it's a throw-in for City, level with the edge of the penalty area. Savinho takes it. And City work it all the way back towards the halfway line. Here's Kovacic. Kovacic goes low out towards the far side, down the line. This is good from City. There's the cross towards Haaland. Can't quite get on the end of it, clear towards the edge of the penalty area, but the foul there inside the penalty area from, I think it was the Norwegian on Wesley Fofana, and it will be a free kick to Chelsea. We're going to make another change here late on, and it's going to be Jos Akiyapong who's going to come on in place. He's going to replace Hato by the looks of things, the Dutchman. Indeed he is. So that's all 5 changes now for Chelsea, and Rosenior must already be thinking about the forthcoming fixtures as well. This one is long gone following that burst from Manchester City at the start of this second half to get the job done. Here comes Chelsea inside the penalty area. That's Alejandro Garnacho, tries to get the ball into the box, and it's blocked, I think, by Kusanov, and just loops up into the air, and it goes through to Donnarumma. Puts the ball down on the edge of the 6-yard area. And Donnarumma goes low out to Mark Gueye. And it goes from Kovacic, Rodri. Quite unusual to see Manchester City actually playing Rodri and Kovacic at the same time. It's normally one or the other. Played a lot, of course, last season, the Croatian, due to that injury for Rodri, which ruled him out for almost the whole season, of course. And certainly one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the big reasons why Manchester City struggled last season and were off the pace, certainly in the Premier League. Is Semenyo making a run down the left-hand side. And a good tracking back to put the ball out of play there by Jos Akiyapong. It's a throw-in for Manchester City, level with the Chelsea penalty area down the Manchester City left. Norrie takes it. Now Kovacic, 1-2 between himself and Rodri. Back it goes to Kusanov. As the central defender thinking about a shot again. Now it goes out towards the far side eventually. Savinho's going to have a run at Cucurella. Savinho down towards the byline. There's the cross. He's got too much on it. It'll be retrieved down this near side though by Ryan Norrie. Now it's Gueye across the edge of the 18-yard line. Kovacic. This is good from City until it's overran by Foden, I think it was, from just outside the D. Indeed it was, and it's gone behind, and it'll be a goal kick to Chelsea. We're heading into stoppage time here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3. Nico Irani in the 51st minute, Marc Gueye in the 57th minute, Jeremy Doku in the 68th minute. They are coming for Arsenal after this game. Manchester City will have 7 games left to play, the next of which is against Arsenal. As the keeper goes long, fourth official's coming out with his ball. I imagine there'll be a great deal of time to add. That injury to Rodri did 8 minutes. Well, I honestly don't know where 8 minutes has come from. It feels like a sort of a 3-minute, maybe a 4-minute at best injury timer. And do either of these teams even want this injury, to be quite honest with you? Manchester City happy. They've got the job done. They just want to get done and dusted and showered. Chelsea are a beaten team and have been for a long, long time. I think they probably love to hear the final whistle now, but we've got to get through another 8 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3. Ball floated out towards this near side for Aït-Nouri. Brings it down beautifully, then plays one down the line. Semenyo's going to chase, but he won't get there. Goes out of play, and it'll be a throw-in to Chelsea right next to the corner flag down their right-hand side. So this will be Manchester City's 8th away victory of the season. They're 8-4-4 away from home. In fact, they've only lost the one game at home in the Premier League this season, and incredibly that was to Tottenham Hotspur, a team who may well be going down into the Championship. Of course, they are in the bottom 3 following their defeat earlier. Here comes City again. Foden just overruns. It's like might fall for Haaland. Top the turn, gets the shot away, and it's blocked on the edge of the 6-yard area. And Chelsea clear it long towards the halfway line. Retrieved by Aït-Nouri. Looking for a fourth here, City. They look more likely to get a fourth than Chelsea do a first, I'll put it that way. So Spurs, just to confirm, they are in the bottom 3 on 30 points following their defeat by a 0-0 at Sunderland earlier today. West Ham 2 ahead of them, Forest 3 ahead. They drew earlier. Big point for them as well, you feel, for Forest against Villa. And Leeds, of course, still to play. But, of course, if Leeds could get a surprise victory tomorrow against Manchester United, they would move 6 ahead of Spurs. Spurs with 6 games to go, of course. In fact, every team in the Premier League now has 6 games to go after this one, apart from Manchester City, Crystal Palace. Of course, that's that game in hand I mentioned earlier that still is to be rescheduled by the Premier League. It could go a big way towards deciding the title this season, that game, and it may not be played until possibly the last week of the season. We wait to see. City coming forward again. Chelsea have won it back though. Cole Palmer can bring it clear. Cole Palmer, it goes to Delap, doesn't find Delap, but it'll fall kindly again for Palmer. Down the centre he goes. He's had a push in the back. He manages to maintain his balance and then go out towards Neto down this near side, level with the edge of the penalty area. The Portuguese looking to take on Gueye. He then overruns it. Manages to win it again though. Good balance from him to find Cucurella. Cucurella out to Garnacho, left-hand side of the penalty area for Chelsea. Back in field again to Cucurella. And now it's with the number 45, Lavia. Touched off towards the far side again for Chelsea by Hato, I think it is. Cole Palmer once more. And just a correction from earlier as far as the substitution goes. It was Malo Gusto who went off and not Jarrah Hato, the number 21 for Chelsea. There's a offside flag up down this near side. It'll be a free kick to Manchester City. We played nearly 4 of the 8 minutes of stoppage time, and Manchester City are coasting. Really, really good performance in this second half from Manchester City. 3 goals. 2 from defenders. That'll be a free kick as Gueye brings the ball away from defence. He's brought down by, I would say, a frustrated Liam Delap. Free kick then to Manchester City. Gueye takes it and goes all the way back towards the edge of his own penalty area. There's Rodri, touched off by the Croatian. Kovacic out towards the far side. And Phil Foden drops deep. Finds Rodri. Rodri closed down by Asugu. Releases it to Gueye. He can bring the ball over the halfway line down his left-hand side under absolutely no pressure whatsoever continues his run and then finds Ait-Nouri. Ait-Nouri now can get the ball into the box. Left side of the penalty area. There's the ball towards Haaland. It just comes off the top of the Norwegian's head and cleared out towards the far side. Savinho has it. In comes the cross again towards Haaland. He wants his goal, and he gets the header, and I think it was going wide anyway, but it's gathered by Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper. It would be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it, for Manchester City, for the Norwegian to get yet another goal. It's one for the cameras, really, that save from Robert Sanchez. I think if he hadn't saved it, it would have gone wide of the left-hand post. Anyway, we've played 5 minutes now of stoppage time. And we've got a little hold up here. Down this near side. I'm not entirely sure why. Robert Sanchez is preparing this. Well, it's gone behind. In fact, for a corner to Manchester City down this near side. Their 9th of the afternoon. And maybe they will get their 4th goal. In it comes. Headed clear on the edge of the 6-yard area, but the referee's seen something there. I think a foul on Cucurella. Haaland looks confused. He doesn't really know why the referee's whistle went, but indeed it has. And it'll be a free kick to Chelsea inside their own penalty area. So the story of the game then, a fairly even first 45 minutes. Manchester City certainly had the better of it as far as the possession goes. Chelsea possibly had the better opportunities. And then in the second half, Manchester City just came out with real intent, really took the game to Chelsea. And within 12 minutes of the second half, there were 2 goals to the good. A header from Nico O'Reilly, and then Mark Way with a lovely finish actually from the central defender to make it 2-0. And then Moses Caicedo giving the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area. Jeremy Doku punished him by finishing for 3-0. Shouts for a handball over the far side there on Alejandro Garnacho, but the referee waves it clear. And Chelsea have it again inside the centre circle with Fofana. And it goes towards Cole Palmer. Not been his day, Cole Palmer. It's not really been his season, to be fair. Spoke earlier about Phil Foden, of course, and his England opportunities with the lack of playtime that he's had this season. It's kind of been maybe not so similar to Cole Palmer. He's had the playtime, he just hasn't had the form. He hasn't shown the form this season. Although here he is on the edge of the penalty, and even then, he was in a good position. He just overruns it, and it allows City to get the ball back to Donnarumma, who can clear out towards his near side to Ait-Nouri. Down the line to Rodri. Rodri scoops it centrally to Cole Palmer, to Phil Foden, whose touch is a little bit heavy and allows Chelsea to win it back. In the last minute stoppage time here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3. Chelsea, a beaten team, just playing the ball around the centre of the field. And they're going to need some running, I think, now, Chelsea, if they are going to qualify for the Champions League in one of these 5 places. This is a really, really good result for the likes of Liverpool, Aston Villa, Manchester United. That's going to be a yellow card. That's a foul there on the left-hand side of the centre circle. Free kick to Manchester City. We played the 8 minutes of stoppage time, and the foul